Hello yogis! For our restorative practice today, we are going to use a lot of props. We have our blocks, a blanket, and a bolster if you want to use the traditional props. And as a bonus, not necessary, we have a sandbag. So I know most of you don't have traditional props, so you can use a towel rolled up. I created a bolster using these blankets, and mine are a little short, so I made two blocks or books instead of blocks. And you can also use pillows, and we'll need those to support our outer hips when we take our Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you don't have a sandbag, again, not necessary, just a bonus. We're going to use a weight. Instead, I have a 10-pound weight. All right, so we'll come to standing. Find your grounding. Let those heels ground, the thighs move back, flesh of the buttocks release, drawing the side ribs up, the shoulders soften down, and let the arms relax. We'll take those arms out and up on a big inhale, exhale just halfway. With that inhale, lift all the way up, reach the arms, hands back to the heart. Inhale, reach the arms wide. Exhale, again just halfway. Inhale, lifting those arms, hands back to the heart. Find the grounding through the heels as you expand through the arms on the inhale. Exhale, maybe a little deeper this time. Finding your long spine or maintaining your long spine. Inhaling all the way up, hands to the heart. And take those arms out and up again. We're going to clasp the hands together. Reach and extend and lean. Keep the heels rooted. As you lift and lengthen through the side body, use the breath to guide the movement. Up and over to the other side. And let those arms release. Roll out through the shoulders. And we'll take the head to the side. You can drop one ear to the shoulder. Allow the opposite arm to release heavy. Maybe gently rocking the head. And lifting the head back to the center, we'll take it to the other side. Letting the opposite arm release heavy. And back to the center, shoulders loose. Clasp the hands behind the head. Keep your thighs back, your heels rooted. And then pull your elbows back. Pull your chest up towards the ceiling and then return back to the center. Again, the chest cannot lift high enough. Thighs move back, chest is lifted. Again, work those elbows back, chest is lifted, thighs move back. Don't let your hips thrust forward. And then release those arms, roll out through the shoulders again. And we'll take a half dog here. So you can use any higher level. If you've got a chair, couch, let the palms rest and allow the hips to extend back. And have those feet maybe slightly wider than hip distance. And just feel the length of the torso. You can even bring your hands higher if you want a little more subtle fold here. So find the height that works for you and stay with the breath. This half dog or hybrid down dog, you can rock the legs a bit, maybe shift the hips side to side. And letting those shoulders stay broad. You can rock the triceps in or roll the triceps in. And just explore the movement. And begin to come up to standing. Roll out through the shoulders. And then we'll make our way onto our hands and knees. So when you ground your hands into the floor, Have your knees right underneath your hips. You can spin your biceps forward, your shoulders drop away from the ears, and begin to draw the chest forward through the arms on the inhale, and as you exhale, arch through the spine. And moving at the pace of your own breath, taking a few cat-cows here. And then we'll bring it back to a neutral spine, and we'll set up for our first pose. So using your roll, using a towel or a blanket, and then we'll have a bolster for under the thighs, and then a pillow for your head support. So you can adjust the thickness of your roll, and it's going to go against the shoulder blades. So right below the underarms, along the shoulder blades, and you'll lean back. You want to make sure you find the right position. Take your time. Tuck the shoulder blades in and then push yourself back to allow your shoulders to waterfall off the roll. And let your head and neck be supported by the pillow, or even another towel would work. And kick the bolster up towards your bottom. And then allow your thighs to rest. And notice your comfort level. It's not necessarily comfortable to have that roll in your shoulder blades, but you want to find some ease. So you can hang out here. And in each position, we're going to be there about 5 to 7 minutes. So there will be a lot of quiet in this video. Once you find your positioning, you can begin to deepen the breath. And notice the parts of the body where the pressure of the supports hit against. And allow the breath to move elsewhere. Let the breath move into the side lungs, into the bottom ribs, into the front chest. And with the exhale, letting yourself surrender into the supports. And you may see me checking my watch, so I'm keeping time here. And as you let yourself rest, observing the sensations of the body, and noticing the movement of the breath. If you'd like to move a little deeper into your back bend, you can remove the support for your head. And let your head rest on the floor, let your chin soften towards your chest. You can even scoot yourself back a little bit farther. If that feels like too much, just return back to the support of the head. And again, we'll stay here for a few more minutes, observing the breath and letting the body surrender into the supports. You may begin to deepen your breath again. And we'll start to bend the knees and rolling over to your right side. Use the left hand to help lift yourself back up to sitting. And then we'll move the supports out of the way. For our next position, you will need your blocks or your books. And we'll make our way onto our backs. So have your blocks or books close by. And let yourself rest here with the shoulders tucking down and under. You can bring the elbows wide or the arms wide. Draw the knees towards the chest and rock the knees side to side. Just take an easy spinal twist here. Try to keep your shoulders grounded. As you rock, the more you draw your knees towards your chest, a little more intensity in the twist. And then we'll bring it all back to the center. Allow your hips, your heels, your shoulders all to be in alignment, and you'll press your feet into the floor. If you're using if you're using books, use one at a time as you slide them under your hips. Allow your sacrum to be supported. Your feet resting on the floor, let your shoulder blades tuck in and under. You want to feel the lift of the shoulder blades and the lengthening of the tail away from your low back. And make sure you feel supported. The length of the tail extending towards the heels, the side ribs lifting, and the length of the back of the head extending away from your shoulders. Allow the inner thighs to soften in. You can even rest those knees in towards each other with your feet a little wider. And again, bringing the awareness to the breath, and allow your body to rest into the supports, the sacrum into the blocks, the shoulders into the floor, the knees into each other. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to walk your feet in towards each other. Press the feet into the floor to lift the hips and remove the supports, your blocks or your books, out from underneath you. Removing those books one at a time. Lower those hips back down to the floor and take the arms up and back. You can gently press those feet to lengthen the arms back farther. And then draw the right thigh in towards the chest. Use the hands to hold on to the knee and push the left heel forward. Left thigh grounds towards the floor. And then switch. Push the right heel forward. The right thigh grounds down as that left knee draws back. And release the feet. Roll over to your right side and press yourself back up. And the next position where we are setting up for is your Supta Baddha Konasana. So you use your bolster. And again, I'm using 2 here because mine were a little short. And then you'll need the blanket or even a pillow for your head. Or I'm using my towel for my head. And then you'll also want support for the outer hips. So I'm going to use these matching throw pillows. You can also use your blocks if you have them. My matching throw pillows. And you want the outer hips supported. You may need more support, you may need less support than I do. but you want to have minimal stretch. So have enough support so you feel comfortable. So we're going to stay here for a few minutes. And then you'll sit in front of your bolster right up to your sacrum, and then recline back, letting the head and neck be supported with your towel, your blanket, or pillow, whatever you've got. Allow the outer hips to be supported. Let the flesh of the buttocks move away from the low back towards the heels, and allow your back body to rest. And again, y'all, take your time finding the right position, the right support for you. You may need more support, you may need less support than what I'm using. And once you feel comfortable and rested, again return the awareness to the breath, noticing a gentle expansion of the rib cage with every inhale, a softening of the arms, a softening of the shoulders with every exhale. Imagine the neck and jaw is loose and relaxed. The muscles around the mouth are relaxed. The muscles around the eyes and the cheeks soften, letting the eyes fall away from the eyelids, and allow the forehead to be smooth. And through any wandering of the mind, return the awareness back to the sensations of the body and the movement of the breath. Deepening the breath again. Bring the hands down to the legs and use the hands to lift the knees back to the center. Rolling off your supports over to the right side and press yourself back up to sitting. And for our next pose, we're going to take a supported spinal twist. So you just need your bolster. Allow your legs to extend long with your bolster to your right hip, and then swing those legs around to the left. Lengthen the torso, turn the torso towards your bolster, and let your torso rest on the bolster. If you like a little support for your head, you can use it. Take the time, pat out your curves, find so your spine is long and lengthened. So you can see here my spine's almost parallel to the floor. So whatever kind of support you need to get that length of the spine. And I actually switched that support from my head to my leg because that's where I needed it. And once you let your arms relax, make sure your arms aren't jamming into your shoulders. And you can rest your head in either direction, whichever ear rests easier. And you can take the time here as you rest in your twist. If you need to adjust at any time, take the time to do it. And again, let yourself surrender into the supports. Begin to press your hands into the floor to lift yourself back up. Stretch your legs out in front once more. And then we'll adjust. We'll take the bolster to the opposite hip, or you can just swing your legs to the other side. I had to move for the sake of the video here. And then you'll swing those legs off to your right with the bolster at your left hip, lengthening the torso. Turn the belly down towards the bolster. And you may need the same support, you may need a little different support. So again, take the time. See how this side may be different than the other. Resting whichever ear rests easy. Being mindful that the arms aren't jamming into the shoulders. Letting the upper back spread as the arms rest. The torso is long. Smooth and even breaths. From here, begin to press your hands into the floor again, lifting the torso back up. And we'll stretch the legs out in front. Stretch out through the backs of the knees, ground the palms, lift your chest, and rock the head side to side. You can rock out through the neck a little, press out through those heels, the toes spread. And then for our next position, I'm going to show you a few different options. So you can watch these options and then choose the one you want. So, first option, you don't need any support. If you want to use that bonus weight, you may. I'm wrapping it in the towel if you have a weight and not a sandbag. And it's just a supported legs up the wall, or in this case, I'm using the couch. Letting your calves rest on the couch or on a chair. Spine is long and neutral. Let the shoulders relax. You can even take legs up the wall. Either variation, no support necessary. If you like to use the bonus, the weight wrapped in the blanket, you can rest it on your lower abdomen as close to your hip crease as you can. I'm using the folds of the towel to help keep the weight in place. Just a nice little added grounding. So you can stay in that position if you like, or you can add a little inversion by sliding the bolster underneath your hips. And you want the bolster supported or supporting the sacrum, the calves resting. Again, this can be legs up the wall as well with support under the hips. Let those shoulders tuck in and under. Nice little back bend. Very nice subtle inversion. And then I'll show you one more option. Another variation of a shoulder stand. So you'll use your bolster or a blanket. And in this variation, your hips will be on your couch or on your chair. You need something sturdy. So the hips are on the chair, and you release your shoulders down onto the bolster or blanket. Let the shoulders be tucked in just like shoulder stand. So this is great if you have a shoulder stand practice. Back of the neck is long, head is rested. And then let your legs extend upwards. And I inserted a little window here so you can see what was going on. Ideally, your legs are rested on the back of your couch. You can also take the soles of the feet together, or legs extended long. And then take rest. So any of these options. And we'll stay here and breathe. Bringing the awareness back to the breath. If you have your hips elevated, you can press your feet into the seat of the chair, lift the hips, remove the bolster. If your hips are high on a chair, push your feet into the back of the chair and slowly slide yourself back till your bottom comes down. And then once we are all with our hips on the floor, we'll draw the knees in towards the chest. It's feeling the neutral spine. And if you'd like to take regular Shavasana, you'll roll to your side and set yourself up as you like. If you were in the higher inversion with the hips lifted, I'll recommend just resting the calves on the seat of the chair or the couch. You can add the sandbag or weight if you like. In whatever position you choose, allowing the spine to be long. The low back is lengthening. The heaviness of the legs resting into the floor, into the support. The outer shoulders softening down towards the floor, the heaviness of the arms releasing. Notice the feet completely relaxed. All 10 toes relaxing completely. Imagine the ankles are loose and the calves and the shins rest heavy. Allow the breath to move down the body into the knees. Let the heaviness of the thighs drop towards the floor. Imagine where the leg bones connect to the pelvis and allowing those spaces to be soft and relaxed. Feeling the bowl of the pelvis loose and relaxed. The abdomen relaxes deeper with every exhale as it softens down and in. Notice the low back loose and relaxed. Notice as the bottom ribs gently spread with every inhale, soften back in with every exhale. Observe the broadening of the side ribs, the front chest, as you breathe, and the softening in, the surrender of the back body deeper into the floor with every exhale. Imagine a broadening of the space below the collarbones as you inhale, and a heaviness of the shoulders, the arms, with every exhale. Notice the cup of the hands, the curve of each finger, allowing the hands to soften, the fingers to relax completely. Notice a looseness in the sides of the neck and the throat. Allow the tongue to rest in the bottom palate. The muscles of the mouth relax, the muscles around the cheeks and the eyes. Imagine the eyelids softening away from the forehead, and the eyes softening away from the eyelids. The space between the eyebrows is smooth and relaxed. The forehead is smooth, and the temples soften towards the floor. The skin of the skull releases towards the back of the head. And notice the heaviness of the body, the surrender of the body into the floor, into the supports with every exhale. And when the mind begins to wander, just notice where it's taken you and return the awareness back to the movement of the breath, the rise and fall of the chest. you may begin to deepen your breath, bringing the awareness back to the inhale and the exhale. And start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Begin to roll through the ankles, through the wrists. And start to take those arms up overhead. Start to push out through the heels a little bit, stretching through the legs. If you have the weight, use caution as you shift it off to the side. And draw the knees in towards the chest. Rolling over to your right side. And press yourself back up to sitting. Let the shoulders soften. You can roll it out a little bit, finding the length of the spine here. And I thank you, yogis. Namaste.